Is it true that because the White House and Eric Holder described this or categorized this as a workplace shooting and not combat related, that you're not entitled, you and other victims are not entitled to, for example, decorations, a Purple Heart, or some of the combat related benefits that you would otherwise receive had you been shot, let's say, for example, in Afghanistan or Iraq?
Absolutely, sir. And to add to what you're saying, for Mr. Holder, every time when he goes home and he shuts his door and he lays down and goes to sleep, and he can do that in peace, he needs to understand that he's able to do that because of the blood that's being shed by a service member in foreign soil.
It has taken 4 years to bring this to trial. I said it yesterday, you know, there's an old legal maxim that justice delayed is justice denied. You feel denied so far?
I do. This trial, I'm glad that it's finally happened. It's been a long time coming. And the reason why we've had delay after delay is really doesn't make any sense. But I guess in some people's minds, better late than never. I just want justice to be served and let our justice system work the way they're supposed to without any interference or any outside influence that will stop the process any further.
And all this while, as I understand it, the defendant, Major Nidal Hassan, has been receiving a paycheck as well as medical benefits, now approaching a total of $300,000. And yet, you and many others who were victims denied some combat-related benefits. How does that make you feel?
It really upsets me because a lot of the 32 that have retired, they're having a hard time financially right now. And even with other service members that have retired medically from uniform has been having a hard time, even though we have a lot of American citizens and organizations that are there to help us. But there again, as you said, Major Hassan has received over $300,000 from the uniform that he hates to wear. So now you have a man that's saying he hates to wear a uniform that not only has been financing him for the past 4 years, but also finances education when he came out of the National Guard and ended up going to college off of the GI Bill.
Sergeant Alonzo Lunsford, thank you so much for your service and your tremendous sacrifice. I know it's been tough. You've expressed yourself well, and you're going to be one of the lead witnesses in this case. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Boy, powerful stuff.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It just gives you chills every time you hear it, even all these years later. But imagine a national park being set up on the moon. 2 House Democrats are proposing just that.
Oh, Democrats.
The American
Democrats proposing to spend money
for future generations. The bill states, as commercial enterprises in foreign nations acquire the ability to land on the moon, it is necessary to protect the Apollo lunar landing sites for posterity.
Of course it is.
So is it. Corey Powell joins me now, editor-at-large of the for Discover magazine. Corey, welcome back.
Always nice to be
Always
here.
good to have you with us. Now, you know, I mean, on the face of it, you say, oh, a national park on the moon, it sounds like a ridiculous idea. However, we do want to, in some way, preserve those sites if anybody ever gets back there. It's been more than 40 years, and nobody's made it yet.
Right, it's an incredible piece of history, and there's several layers of protection. There's the United Nations treaty that we signed that basically protects the sovereignty of the
A United Nations treaty. Go figure.
First of all, it's the United Nations, and second of all, it doesn't say anything about the actual artifacts on the moon. And to me, the most interesting thing here is, you know, the NASA part of it, that amazing image of
what artifacts are you including in that?
Well, so the things they're most interested in are the Apollo landing sites, Apollo 11 through Apollo 17. But there's an incredible, crazy array of things there. There's a falcon feather and a hammer that David Scott dropped to demonstrate how gravity works during Apollo 15. There are the golf balls. There are 96 bags of frozen urine and feces, which I'm assuming...
Frozen urine and feces? Wow!
Everything.
What a wonderful thing to want to preserve.
Artifacts on the moon, and the question is, you know, how much of that is history that you want to preserve? The other interesting question to me is, you know, NASA isn't saying that, oh, they're going to send missions back to protect this. They're saying private companies.
Yeah, the Russians are likely to swoop in there and steal our flag or, you know, some of our space junk.
How far away are we we from, you know, sort of a competitive environment where there's all these different entities going up there and we have to protect it. I mean, you look at what Richard Branson has done, and that's just getting us up to the zone of the International Space Station, which is how far away from the moon? I mean,
right. Manned spaceflight into orbit, we're very close to that. Manned spaceflight to the moon for a private company, that's still a long haul. But there's a prize called the Google Lunar X Prize, and there are 32 different groups that are competing for a $30 million jackpot to send a robot to the moon.
$30 million jackpot.
I mean, that may happen.
I wonder who will pay for that.
5 years. So this is not a far distant thing. And those, you could send an automatic prospector there, collect some artifacts, bring them back, and sell them on eBay. The need to protect this is not such a crazy, far-off idea as it may sound.
Interesting.
No, of course not. It's a great idea, especially in a country with an economy that is so great like ours. I mean, hey.
Some things are more valuable than others.
Yeah. People starving to death in the world. Let's worry about